Hey there, this is John from Heroes and Legends. Today we have 3 more spoilers from Battle for Zendikar we'll be taking a close look at. And on top of that, we're also going to get our first glance at the Battle for Zendikar packaging, as well as a first look at some of the art assets and the name of the new set that will be coming out this winter. So let's start there with our winter set, and this of course will be the second set of 2 for the Battle for Zendikar block, and it is going to be called Oath of the Gatewatch, and this art asset you're looking at in the background actually is from Oath of the Gatewatch. We also have the mana symbol here, and this of course will be coming out in January. It will be the second set of the block, concluding the story of Zendikar. Let's look at a couple other pieces of art that were revealed as well. Basically, what we're looking at is our 4 Planeswalkers that will play a role in this set. And we already knew Gideon, Nissa, and Jace were playing a role in Battle for Zendikar. So it looks like Chandra is going to be joining them for the next set. And what it looks like here from a lore perspective, originally the Eldrazi were locked away in the Hedrons by Planeswalkers that came together that were able to entrap them. And this looks like how the storyline will probably resolve, with these 4 Planeswalkers now trapping them back in the Hedron at the end to save Zendikar, perhaps, is what it looks like. So there it is, pretty cool. Now, of course, this will be a small set. It's been a while since we had a small set. Last one was Fate Reforged when I first started the channel that was coming out. So every set since then has been a large set. So this will be a small one. It will be the winter set, and it'll wrap up the story. So I'm looking forward to it. All right, having said that, let's move into some packaging details for Battle for Zendikar. Quickly, let's look at, we got the booster box here and the fat pack, and they're both using our same art assets we've been seeing with Gideon on the front. And there is going to be an event deck, so that's pictured there. Here are the booster wrappers for Battle for Zendikar, and going from left to right, looks like we got an Eldrazi. Then it looks like Kiora is on the second one, so that's interesting. Looks like that's Ob Nixilis, I think, in the middle, and then of course we already have seen Gideon and Veteran War Leader on the far right. Also, here's our intro packs. Now, you'll notice 4 of the 5 cards have already been spoiled. The 5th one we'll talk about in some detail in just a few moments. But yeah, there's your intro packs. And the last thing I wanted to point out before we get to the cards is they also revealed what the deck box is going to look like for the Battle for Zendikar pre-release. Now, if you're not familiar yet with this concept, in the last few years of pre-releases, when you go, you get your packs, but they come in kind of a little cardboard box with some spin down dies in there and some other things. But now you're actually going to get a deck box instead of a little cardboard box. So that's pretty cool. The art on it looks really different, really neat with the Zendikar like writing, I guess. And there's also going to be a die holder at the bottom. That's where the bottom piece is. You can see that on the right. You see the inside of it along with the spin down die that you would get. Pretty cool stuff. I'm really excited about this change. Now, if you look closely at it, it looks like it's kind of like those plastic deck boxes that they're a little flimsy, but still, I wasn't expecting like some really fancy like leather deck box or anything like that. This is really cool considering this is something we didn't get before. We just got a paper box. So even though it might not be like super high quality, it's pretty cool that they're going to include your packs of cards, your spin down in this, and it's something useful, and you're going to be able to carry your cards around the pre-release, which is always awkward when you're trying to carry your deck in your sideboard around in a box and they're sliding around and all that stuff. So pretty cool. So having said that, let's move on to the 3 cards for today. The first one is Lantern Scout. Costs 1 white, 2 colorless. It's a 3/2, and this is a rare. Creature Human Scout ally. It has Rally. Whenever Lantern Scout or another ally enters the battlefield under your control, creatures you control gain lifelink until end of turn. So only costs 3. This is at the rare slot, so it's not going to be showing up all the time in your limited games, but these allies seem to be like no joke in limited. They have some pretty powerful abilities. Granted, the more powerful ones like this one are falling into like the rare slots, but still, this is pretty decent. If you are playing a ally deck that's reliable in, say, either sealed or draft, you could gain a lot of life off a card like this and really run away with a game. Pretty cool reveal here. As far as standard goes, the only thing I will say, what makes standard decks powerful are powerful cards that can kind of work sort of well together. You know, you want your big removal cards like your Hero's Downfalls. You want your Siege Rhinos that can impact the board on their own. When you start relying on cards to interact with other cards in your deck, other than maybe a 2-3 card combo, then you get yourself in a situation where your deck's not going to be as consistent. So can allies be a thing in standard? I don't know. At this point, from what I've seen, I would have to say no, but there's still a lot more cards to be revealed. And if they give you the tools, maybe it will be. So I guess we'll see as we go forward. Next we have Brewed Butcher, and this costs a green, a black, and 3 colorless, and it's a 3/3 Eldrazi drone. This is also a rare. He has Devoid, so he does count technically as a colorless card, and when he enters the battlefield, he could put a 1/1 Eldrazi sign token into play, which of course can be sacrificed for 1 mana. And if you pay a black and a green and sacrifice a creature, target creature gets -2/2 till end of turn. So paying 5, especially with 2 different colors to get a 3/3, doesn't feel super good. However, his ability is pretty good. You do get an extra 1/1 of power and toughness on the board when you play him, so that's a very good thing. However, if you're really dedicated to Eldrazi's and you're getting a lot of these Eldrazi drones out there and you want to find something to do with them, as long as you got the black and green mana, you can really start decimating the board state by giving things -2/2 and stacking that ability on top of bigger creatures. So this is a nice limited card. You'll be more than happy to play this in any build where you're going to have enough colorless creatures to sacrifice to make this good. Now, if this is your only Eldrazi, he's really not as good on his own. But with other ones where you can sacrifice a lot of the tokens, he becomes a very good limited guy. Now the last card for today is Drowner of Hope, and this is the 5th card that we just saw in the intro packs. And this particular version we're looking at is actually the intro pack version. So it costs 1 blue and 5 colorless. It's a 5/5 Eldrazi. It does have Devoid, so it counts as a colorless card. And when he enters the battlefield, you get to put 2 of the 1/1 Eldrazi sign tokens into play, which can be sacked for 1 mana. And his ability is sacrifice an Eldrazi sign to tap a target creature. So this is interesting, and here's why to me. Now, paying 6 for a 5/5 with no evasion, not super happy about that. But then you read a little deeper. Okay, I get 2 1/1 tokens. That's pretty good. And they can be sacked for mana. Yeah, that's pretty good. Or I can sacrifice them to tap down creatures and maybe give this guy a little bit of quote-unquote quasi-evasion. That's not bad. He's going to be a good limited guy. What I find interesting about him is he does cost blue to cast, so I know he's the Void, but he's basically a blue card. And blue doesn't usually have access to this type of thing. A big ground pounder at 5/5 that can also tap down creatures or produce a little mana ramp. That's interesting for blue. It's not something blue usually kind of plays around in, so be interesting to see how this works with other blue cards, what this is going to feel like when you're playing in limited. A little bit overpriced, of course, for what it does for standard, but definitely great limited bomb. It's going to do well in a draft or seal pool for sure. Well, those are our cards for the day. So if you haven't already, great time to subscribe to the channel. We're going to be putting out these videos every day that we have spoilers, which will probably be just about every day up until the set's fully spoiled. And once it is, we'll of course do our set review by color and look at all the cards in the set once everything has been revealed. So, as always, please remember to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Hey, thanks as always for watching. These videos are made possible by viewers just like you through Patreon. Please check out our Patreon page by clicking on the top right. Down below, we have more links to quality Magic the Gathering content. And if you're interested in seeing trading cards open that aren't Magic the Gathering, check out the link to our trading card channel, Heroes and Legends Trading Cards. Thanks and have a great day.